Alright, what's going on everybody? It's Matt and Bong with NASFight Media coming at you guys with another video. You guys already know what time it is. It's time to bring on that boxing. And today we're going to be talking about Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Obviously, this is a mega fight, guys. This is a fight we've all been waiting for, and we're, getting to that countdown to the point where we're about a month out, a little bit more than a month, but it's gonna creep up real fast, guys. And this is gonna be the fight of the year, no matter who you have in the fight, what your prediction is, how strongly you feel about who's gonna win the fight. This fight is gonna speak for itself in terms of the magnitude. The stars are all gonna come out. Everybody who knows the sport of boxing, everybody who's heard about it, is going to pull up to this fight, or at least tune into the pay-per-view. Is it gonna do more than Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis? I don't know about that, because that was such a big and transcending moment for the sport of boxing, because it was crossing platforms between, YouTube, people that don't even watch boxing, and the boxing purists who know of Ryan Garcia and obviously Tank. So that's why the fight was so big. So I wouldn't so much look at this fight as will it do better than Tank and Ryan and 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. You guys have to look at this fight for what it is. This is a stylistic matchup, that's going to go down in the history books. We got a counter puncher in Terrence Crawford, the guy who's very, very aggressive, and at the same time he's very skilled, has so many tools in the toolbox, versus a guy in Errol Spence who is very fundamentally sound and is gonna, his work rate isn't gonna stop throughout the fight. It's gonna carry from round 1 to round 12. He's gonna stay on Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford's gonna wait on Errol Spence to make a mistake. That's why the matchup is so, enticing to the fans. That's why we've been waiting how many years to see this fight. It started in talks around 6-7 years ago. Now the last few years have been the moments where we've really asked for the fight. We've really been calling for it, and I'm excited to see it. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, July 29th in Las Vegas, Nevada. But let's get into the predictions a little bit and the breakdown of the fight. Obviously, we have Terrence Crawford, like I said before, is the counter puncher, and Errol Spence, the guy who's more heavy-handed, in my opinion. But Spence, he also has that work rate. He works to the body a lot. I think that's going to be very key. How is Terrence Crawford going to react when a bigger man is going to be hitting him to the body and, digging to his body and, moving off to the side, landing big shots? And then you have Terrence Crawford, who's very good on his feet. Is he going to be able to make Errol Spence move around a lot? Is he going to cut off angles, create angles where it's going to confuse Errol Spence? That's also, a topic of discussion for this fight. We're interested to see all these things, and you really can't answer it until it's in the fight. Because Errol Spence, he's very low in his stance. He gets his feet really planted. His stance is very wide. Doesn't move a lot, but he's going to catch you. He's going to land his shots. And how is Terrence Crawford going to react? You guys know I have Errol Spence, and a lot of people disagree with me. I feel like the majority of the people I've talked to have picked Terrence Crawford. But at the end of the day, Errol Spence is a bigger, stronger, physically stronger, and the work rate is greater. So I'd be a fool to not go with Errol Spence in this fight. A lot of people like to talk about what Terrence Crawford has done. He's stopped every welterweight he's faced, but at the same time, you guys also have to remember when he did it, when he fought these guys. Was it a prime Kell Brook? Come on now. Was it a prime Shawn Porter? Shawn Porter was still competing with him. The stoppage, was very controversial at the end of the day. I'm not saying that Shawn would have pulled off a win. Obviously the odds were in his favor, and he would have had an uphill battle to climb, but at the end of the day he wasn't really stopped in that fight. So a lot of people like to talk about the Shawn Porter fight, but at the end of the day, Shawn's a great competitor. That's why they're talking about his name. None of the fights for Errol or Terrence, it wasn't easy for either guy. They had a hard time in there in the early rounds, and specifically the Spence fight was very close. Could have gone either way, but at the end of the day, Spence fought Shawn at an earlier time. So in my opinion, I give the edge to Spence, because he really called for that fight. He really wanted to fight Shawn. And Terrence fought Shawn after he saw, the Errol fight. He saw, how Errol matched up with Shawn Porter. So in a way, you have to give more credit to Errol Spence for beating Shawn Porter, because he fought Shawn when Shawn, was, wanted everything. At the end of the day, when Terrence Crawford fought Shawn, there was word that he was already thinking about retirement. So, we can't really take too much away from that. I'm not saying it wasn't a great performance, but at the end of the day, Errol Spence, he's a much bigger fighter than Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford plans to make up for that with his ability to counter punch, his skills, how his hand speed. I expect the hand speed to be in favor of Terrence Crawford, but also, I just have to go with the bigger boxer. He's so fundamentally sound, is Errol Spence, and it'd just be, foolish for me to pick the smaller guy who counter punches and, more so fights with his heart. Errol fights with his brain at all times, and the pace is what I think is going to give Terrence Crawford a lot of trouble. When he starts working to that body of Terrence Crawford, how is he going to handle that? He's never really faced a big body puncher, a heavy hitter, landing shots to the body, and, when you bring your guard down, he's going to start landing stuff up top. How is Terrence Crawford going to react to that? I don't think he's going to react well, and I think, Errol Spence is going to break Terrence Crawford down. But I know it's a 50-50 fight, in everybody's eyes, but I really do have Errol Spence, pulling this one off. I have him, beating Terrence Crawford pretty, not easily, but in a wide fight, in a wide decision. You might even stop him. He's a bigger guy, guys. We can't ignore the fact that Errol Spence has that jab. He's one of the few fighters that can land the jab, against someone in the opposite orthodox stance when he's a southpaw. So, Terrence likes to switch, but if he wants to switch or stay southpaw, I think he's in for a long night behind that Errol Spence jab. It's gonna touch him up, and then when Errol starts landing shots to the body, man, is it gonna slow him down. You guys are. I know Terrence Crawford's your favorite fighter, but you're about to see your favorite fighter get broken. Someone has to break it. This is the sport of boxing. Someone has to lose, and I think that guy's gonna be Terrence Crawford. I see Errol Spence on top. July 29th. I'm excited to see it. You guys already know I'm predicting that Errol Spence stoppage, and man, it's gonna be a tremendous night of fighting. You guys aren't going to want to miss that. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, July 29th. Man, Las Vegas, Nevada. You guys need to tune into that fight. I got Errol Spence. Let me know in the comments who you guys have. Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. That's going to do it for another Naz Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.